Alright, welcome back everyone, Zaf here. For today's video, we're gonna cover everything Shadow related, but it's not gonna be a tier list. Honestly, doing a tier list for Shadows is one of the dumbest things ever. It just doesn't make sense. There's too many metrics to consider when it comes to Jinwoo teams, Hunter teams, the authorities, and also the passive, so no tier list here for Shadows. What we're gonna do is cover the order when it comes to unlocks, cover the order when it comes to their upgrades, and also cover a big bug when it comes to Shadows that you have to avoid, otherwise you're losing out on a ton of damage. And lastly, I will be covering what teams are the best for Hunters and Jinwoo, that way you know exactly who to equip and which Shadows are just not good right now when it comes to the current meta. But first off, as a reminder, do not forget to support us. The link is down below. Everyone's support was removed, it was reset, so make sure, go to link again, support us, that way you don't miss out. It's 100% free and you get free codes from sporting, so what's the wait? Just do it. Otherwise, you'll miss out on giveaways as well on our Discord server. Make sure you join. We have 2 active giveaways, with one more coming out for hundreds and hundreds of dollars. I'm going broke, but that's okay. But speaking of broke, Raju, a big congrats to you. You're not broke, but you did get a shout out and a brand new exclusive Discord role that you do not want to miss either. Alright, with that first commenter shout out done, a big shout out to Keller, Dread, Soul Level, Shenzai, Def Spank, Hertz, and M Kim. Thank you all for supporting. Remember, you can update your name, that way I can give you a proper shout out, so thank you so much for supporting. Honestly, you guys and gals don't know how much it means, but when it comes to our shadow order, Igris is obviously first, and afterwards, the next shadow you should unlock is Serbi. Yes, that's right, at the common rank, we get a 5% damage taken debuff to the target, which is so darn good, but in a bit, I'll cover a very important bug that will make this damage not even apply, which does suck. But after Serbi, you do have a choice, it's up to you. You can either unlock Iron or unlock Biru, it's up to you. You're picking between 2 passives, that being this right here, a defense decrease, which isn't so good on Jinwoo, but it's amazing for Hunters, very, very strong. And when it comes to Biru, we do get this buff right here, a 5% damage taken bonus to the target, but you do have to note, it is called punishment, meaning if you're running min, this will not apply, which is a bit unfortunate, but still, it's not too bad. 5% for 20 seconds, that damage does help out a ton, but not as much as Serbi, that's why Serbi is number 1, and then you have a split choice between either running Biru or Iron, totally up to you. Either way, with one of these 2 unlocked, you'll have 2 shadows to run with Igris, very important. Now, if those 2 shadows unlock with Igris, which I do recommend you upgrade all the way to Elite Knight, honestly speaking, Igris is one of the best shadows in the game for their authority, not because of any passives. Remember, when it comes to these passives here, giving us 100% attack, they don't apply to Jinwoo, otherwise Igris would instantly be a shadow we have to use no matter what. This only applies to our shadows, we wish it applied to everyone, but it doesn't, just so you note. But getting Igris all the way to at least Elite Knight will give us a nice bonus. You want this to be at least 7%, that way you can branch out and go for other shadows. I don't think it's worth it to go from Elite Knight to General if you're starting out. It does honestly feel better to go for our next best shadow after Igris, which remember, does apply to every single Hunter and Jinwoo, which is so vital. We should go for Big Rock because this bonus here, again, is so vital, applies to every Hunter and Jinwoo, making it one of the best shadow authorities in the game, just like Igris. After that point, it's up to you who you want to upgrade next. You can go for Blades if you want to go for the attack route. And I have to say something I absolutely hate, I'm sick of seeing it. When people are like, Tank is such a bad shadow. No, he's not. Have you been sleeping under a rock? Look at the authority here. All team members' defense increases by 12%. Are you forgetting what meta we're in right now, where Thomas, Andre, Gogan-hee are our top Hunters right now? Yeah, can you think a little? So Tank isn't too bad, he's not a shadow you have to rush, trust me. Though if you have him, if you have the resources to unlock him, honestly, when it comes to team, with Go and Thomas Andre, he's honestly one of our top choices with such an amazing bonus. But just to summarize what I just said, you start with Igris, then go Serbi, then you can pick between Iron and Biru, depending on what you want of course, they both provide passives. After that point, when you have 2 shadows with passive abilities unlocked, you can start maxing out Igris all the way to Elite Knight. General does cost too much, so I don't recommend it. After that, do unlock Big Rock, because the Shadow's authority is so good, and after that point, you can go for Blades, because Blades does give a nice attack bonus. You don't want Bureau for the Shadow's authority. You don't really want Kai's Cell either. They are technically the strongest shadow in the game based on percentages alone, but outside that point, I mean, you're not really going to want to use them. For BOT, they're good. For game modes where you really don't want the passives applied, you just want raw damage, they're a decent choice, but overall, Kai's Cell is a shadow you can't avoid, just like Tusk. I mean, for Phoenix Soul and Alicia, he's a very good shadow with that authority, giving us a 40% core attack bonus, but outside those two instances, he's just not a good shadow. We don't need him. You can sleep on him, don't worry. And that's just because when it comes to our general shadow teams, I should have a time step if you want to skip to this point. When it comes to Jinwoo shadows, generally speaking, you're either going to run Blades, Igris, or Big Rock as your main shadow for the authority. All of these are comparable, remember, of Igris. Even if your crit is at 50%, Igris does add that percentage on top, meaning if the authority is 7%, you get 57 crit going in, which is very, very strong in Blades, obviously, giving us an attack bonus, super juicy, and Big Rock, boosting some of our best skills, obviously, Magnifying Slashes, Sonic Stream, giving us a nice damage increase. So, with one of these 3 shadows equipped, you can now choose for Jinwoo, Biru, and Serbi. You have to run these 2 shadows. They're the only shadows that really apply good buff when it comes to Jinwoo, but for Hunter modes, you should run Serbi and Iron. That's the best choice in my opinion, but if for some reason you didn't go the Iron route or you didn't go the Biru route, you can replace either war with each other. They both work fine. So those are the main team compositions and the order when it comes to our shadows being unlocked. So up to you who you want to get to League Night first, either Igris, Big Rock. I wouldn't say Blades just because Blades only applies to attack units. They are a very strong shadow, but that bonus here only applies to certain scenarios, whereas Igris applies to every single instance, and similar, Big Rock 2 kinda does apply. So that's why these 2 shadows here are just so darn good. But later on, I would say unlocking Tusk wouldn't be too bad. I know I said tank is great, it's just that we have enough bonuses here to apply to multiple hunters where we can now go the core attack route. But afterwards, I would say between tank and Kai's Cell, it's a tough choice, just because they both have uses we can take advantage of. But overall, once you get to that point, I'm sure you know what to do between which shadows you do want to max, because by then, I'm sure the meta will have shifted. Now let's go over the bug I was mentioning earlier. Oh boy. Please do not under any circumstance upgrade your Shadow Serbi to General. I know, you probably did it. I did it too, and I'm pretty upset about it. Sadly right now, because of the General rank for Serbi, unlocking this brand new skill right here, it does mess up how Combustion does apply, meaning when you jump in and use your shadows, this passive debuff will not apply. Now, the issue with Serbi comes from their General rank, where we unlock this skill here, Infernal Flame Wave. If you read right here, after creating distance, the user attacks by sending a blast of fire towards the enemy, which totally ruins how Combustion is applied. Mainly, we use this skill right here, Concentrated Flame, to get this bonus applied. So let me show you what I mean. It's pointless for me to explain it. Let me just show you. So for me to show you, let me jump into a random game mode. In this case, let's do floor 60 of Battlefield Trials. I always use this one because it's kind of easy. The Scorpion is fun to deal with. So as we jump in, I want to show you what happens with Serbi and the 5% bonus. So we're going to jump in, attack once, see the boss's HP bar, and then use our shadow. So you'll see here. Alright, so as we jump in here, let me show you what that skill interaction is like. So let me use my shadows after attacking, and after this guy digs into the ground, super annoying. So we're going to use our shadows and watch Serbi very carefully. Boom! He backs away, and watch, when he uses that skill here, he's gonna miss. Just wait. So no passive applied there when it comes to Combustion, but watch this, boom. Very carefully, watch. He's gonna use that skill, and it just whiffs. This is your 5% damage bonus debuff to the target. Didn't apply. You can see on the boss's HP bar, they have no passives applied there. I wonder why this skill here doesn't apply Combustion to. No idea. So generally speaking, if you get Serbi to General, which you shouldn't, there's no need to rush. They only provide passive, so there's really no point. So as you saw, Serbi could not land that 5% bonus, meaning you have to use your shadows, literally touching tips with the target. I don't know why I said that, but you do have to be on top of them. That way, if Serbi does back off, it still applies the 5% bonus. Super important. if you're not focusing on that, you're losing 5% damage on your run. So watch this. In this case, I'm going to hug the target, use Serbi, you see here, in a second, yeah, they're going to back off again. Watch, they're going to miss. Oh my goodness, no, this is so bad. Okay, they use that pass ability there, which is fine with a skill. But watch this, they're going to use that combustion skill. Do they miss? Hopefully not, and they miss again. This is so bugged. Please, do not upgrade Serbi. What a waste. You're losing out on those traces you invested and also 5% damage. So I want to make that apparent. If you're noticing you have less damage, that's why. Serbi is whiffing their mediocre flame breath. Oh boy. So now you know what the bug is. So please do not upgrade Serbi to general. Otherwise, you're losing out on a ton of damage for no reason. You have to wait a minute and then use Serbi again. And hopefully you land that 5% bonus debuff. What a disaster. It is what it is. Poor Serbi. Although they're amazing at the general rank, they're honestly an F tier shadow. So, I covered the order, I covered the best teams, I covered which shadows to prioritize first when it comes to upgrades, and also the order of unlocks. So I think I covered everything. But last thing I do want to mention, if you're new to the channel, I covered this before, do not get any shadows to the red mark. That's a huge no-no. As you can see here, we're not getting any bonus power, so we have 265, 628. Next tier, nothing. Next tier, nothing. So please avoid the red, and also, when it comes to upgrading these growth tiers, make sure you upgrade your shadows one at a time. So one by one, as you can see here, boom, they're all even. Every single shadow has the same growth. That way, you're not wasting any resources because the power bonus is all the same. As you can see, 265, 628. Let's go to the next one here. 265, 628, all the same thing. If you jump, you're just wasting more material. It costs a lot to upgrade every single time, so please don't do it. Do it one at a time. That way, you're getting the most value out of your resources. But now, I think I covered every single thing there. And I guess I should note, if you want more Shadow Energy, as you can see, I'm at level 101 when it comes to my Shadow Army level. I got this by buying gate keys every single day. As I jump in here to my gates, the best place to get Shadow Energy, we jump in, buy 12 keys. Yeah, it's very expensive, but if you're free to play, please don't do this. It's not worth it. You're better off getting summons. Essence stones are one of the rarest resources in the game. You want to spend responsibly, otherwise you're not going to summon for anything and you will lag behind, which is obviously not the ideal scenario at all. But gates, as you saw there, we're getting so much shadow material, just non-stop material there, coming in, boom. We got 7 traces and more of those materials. I forgot the name, but we're getting a ton of resources. Boom, Shadow Energy. So now you know exactly what to do if you want to upgrade your Shadow Army level. But that's it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, drop your like, make sure to subscribe, and also do support us. That way you get a bunch of free codes. On that note, this is your Code King Zaf, signing out. Enjoy. Have a great weekend.